Alright, I've officially finished reading Stephen King's books from the 1970s, and now I'm moving on to the 1980s. Today I'm here to talk about Firestarter, the first book that he published this decade. This book was originally published in September of 1980, and in the story we follow a young girl named Charlie and her father Andy as they are on the run from a mysterious government organization. That organization is trying to track them down though because Charlie and her dad both have supernatural abilities. Unlike his other books, this one is not a horror story. Instead, it is a very fast-paced thriller that I was able to move through in just a couple days. Instead of being scared of the supernatural elements that you typically would be in a Stephen King story, you're actually more afraid of what the people that are tracking them down would do if they caught them. I'm not going to spoil how they got their abilities, but the power that Charlie has is very early on defined as pyrokinesis, which is pretty much if you took Carrie and gave her fire. And the reason I want to mention that specifically is because I feel like that is one of the things I don't like about this book. I feel like Stephen King had some leftover ideas from Carrie and some of his other earlier works, and he took those and turned it into a thriller that fed on the mass paranoia that America was feeling in the late 70s and the early 80s during the Cold War. Aside from that and a couple small plot points that just didn't work for me, the only other thing I would say is not that great about this book is it could probably be used as another example of Stephen King's inability to write younger female characters, especially earlier in his career. All of that to say, this is still a very entertaining read, and I was able to knock it out in a couple days because it's so fast-paced, and it was really nice to read more of a thriller versus the typical horror that we get from Stephen King. If you've read Firestarter, I would love to know what you think about it in the comments below. And I do have a question, is the movie worth watching? Because I haven't seen either the original or the remake, and I'd be up for putting those on my watch list if they're any good. Okay, bye.